Hello, everybody. How you doing today? My name is Tony Zano. This is the Affiliate Party Podcast. Now, before we get started into today's episode, I will say yesterday I redone pieced together the homepage on my website, thelousydriver.com. So if you go to the first page of thelousydriver.com, you scroll down, you will see the email. If you want to be on my daily email list, feel free to sign up. The emails will be coming. They haven't came this month because I've been busy focusing on this podcast, but September from here on out, I got a plan to write emails on a daily basis. So if you want to read those emails, maybe you can get a couple ideas for yourself. Check it out. They will be coming on a regular basis, so just scroll down. Plus, you can check out, I got all the social media things up there, the Instagram, the Twitter, the Medium, the podcast. But if you listen to the podcast, you don't really know that. So, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was. I just normally I would look online and try to see how to do it. But this time I just said, you know what? I'm not going to do all that. Because before we get into the podcast, one thing you have to be careful about. You have to be careful about getting distracted, because sometimes you mean well when you go to YouTube to actually look at something to say if you want to figure out how to do something on a website or something else, something you want to do. It's sort of like whenever I have problems at home and I'm trying to figure out something when it comes to like the toilet or something like that, I might go watch a YouTube video and I'm like, okay. But then you sometimes you get sucked in 2 or 3 videos and it's 30, 40 minutes later, you don't want to waste time. That's one thing I'm, this month, September, time wasting? No, because yesterday I got done, I said, you know what? No, I don't need to look at any videos. I just need to get in there, figure that out myself. I did it. I looked, figured it out, put the little front page together, piece it together. It's fine for right now. It's fine the way it is right now. Later on I'll figure it out, but get it all how I really want it to be. But I didn't look at any videos, didn't do anything. I just went in there and did it, and boom, I was done. And so I was able to do that. I was able to write an article and so forth. So you want to be more productive than you want to be doing more producing than consuming. So always remember that. Once you finally start doing more producing than consuming, then that's when your business you'll start picking up more speed. So I hope that helps you. Trust me, you'll get sucked in because you're doing the right thing. You'll be watching the video, you'll be listening to a podcast, and you listen to another podcast and another podcast, and at some point you just have to say stop. At some point you just have to stop yourself and say, okay, I got to do this now. I got to do it because, consuming is great. Consuming helps out the other person. It doesn't help out you, That's why we try to make these. I don't want these, podcasts to drag on and on for 30, 40 minutes at a time. It's quick daily things, just to sort of, get it going, But anyway, today we're going to talk about leverage, Now, I bring up leverage because the last couple of days, audiobook I've been listening to, it's about Amazon, about how Amazon got started and all that good stuff. Jeff Bezos, they started off as a little book company. Now, of course, we all know Amazon is like the mafia, you know what I mean? They're everywhere. They control a lot of things, whatever. And when they started off, they had to be nice to book publishers, So, first part of the book, they was being nice to these book publishers. They was like, we'll do this, we'll do that, And then, at the bigger they got, the more leverage they got, they was able to control how, the tone changed with the book publishers. They was able to put in how they wanted to do things, how they wanted to run things, and the book publishers sort of had to kowtow to them, you know what I mean? So now, I'm not saying when you get leverage in your business, when you get rock and rolling, you don't have to be mean-spirited or whatever, but you do want to get it to where you have some kind of leverage, because when you're first starting off, or you were struggling, as your business is not in full swing like you want it to be yet, you have very little leverage. But once you get leverage, you can control the way things are. Just like right now, I have a podcast. Podcast is going good. We produce content every day. You know, because in the next couple of months, I had to get somebody. In the next couple of months, I had to have somebody come help me out with this podcast. You know, I need a producer. I need somebody that I can say, hey, you know, maybe we can get this guest, that guest, because eventually, let's be honest, you know, a podcast, me talking, it works for now, you know. But eventually, when you want to grow, you want to grow things, you want to make things, you have to have you bring guests on, you know, you bring more guests so you can attract more people to your podcast. So eventually, I'm gonna need somebody to help me do that, and then, but what I'm saying is, let me get to the point. When I do get somebody, the podcast will be, you know, it's small. It's not, you know, it's not 7 million people are downloading this podcast. You know what I mean? So for right now, the guests will be, you know, it just depends. It just depends. You know, I'm not gonna get Russell Brunson on my podcast. You know, I just saw some. A side note: you want to see a funny video? It's a guy. What's his name? Mike Winnett. If you ever want to see a funny video about entrepreneurs and online gurus, check him out. He made a video about Russell Brunson. It's pretty funny. It's like 5 or 6 minutes. It made me laugh. But anyway, so I'm not gonna get somebody like that. I'm not gonna get anybody you can think about that's sort of big in the online space. You know, I'm not gonna get Oprah. I'm not gonna get anybody right now if I, you know, with the way the podcast is going. But say, of course, you know, eventually, a couple of years from now, podcast grows. We have, you know, a few thousand people downloading it every week or whatever. Then I will be able to line up guests with a bigger name, of course, you know, because I have more leverage. And then the people, it'll be some people that call me up and say, hey, do you want to do my podcast? And I'll say, you know, what? Eventually, I have the leverage and I can say, because right now, somebody said, hey, you want to do my podcast? I'll do anybody's podcast right now, you know, just to get the word out for my podcast. So, you know, I would jump on any kind of podcast, any kind of YouTube channel, you know, anything to get this thing going, you know, because this is marketing, you know what I'm saying? But eventually, once you get more leverage and once your name gets out there more and more, you know, then you can start turning down the little, you know, the mom. I mean, no offense, you know, you might, if you want to still do it because you just want to do it, you can. But if you don't have the time, and you're like, nah, they only have like 3 people listening every week. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the podcast. It's pointless for you, you know. So that's the leverage. So eventually, you know, when marketing, entrepreneurship, anything in life, the more leverage you have, the better off you are. It's sort of like, I mean, let's be honest with each other. It's sort of like dating. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't want to be the one. When you're dating somebody, you don't want to be the one doing all the chasing. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be the one always calling somebody, always doing this, always doing that. You don't want to be the one always in communication because you don't have any leverage. I mean, trust me, I know this for a fact. Okay, I've been in this position. If you don't pay attention, next thing you know, you're out here calling somebody every day. And you go, shit, I call them every day. They never call me. They never call me. They never do anything. I'm putting out all the effort. You got no leverage. You know what I'm saying? No leverage. So in anything in life, you want to have a little leverage. I'm not saying, you know, you got to control them or dominate or whatever, you know, but in anything, in relationships, you want to have some kind of leverage, you know. It's just how it is. It's human nature, you know. When people think they got something on you, when the people, you know, just like the Amazon, you know, how they started off, they was all real nice to everybody, you know. Hey, we can do this, we can do that for you, and then by the time towards the end of the book, you know, they was throwing their weight around, you know. I mean, they was throwing their weight around like a motherfucker, you know. Like they basically was like, oh yeah, I give you another example about leverage. They went to this company, they went about this company, Zappos. It was like a shoe company. I've heard of that company before. So the shoe company is based out of Las Vegas. They went over there. The shoe company, they was rocking and rolling, and they was like, no, we don't need Amazon. No, we don't want to sell. Then Amazon kept on. A couple years later, Zappos, the recession hit, and they was kind of cash strapped. So they really didn't have a choice. And Amazon said, "Oh, we're back. Here we are. We know you cash strapped. You don't have the funds. You ain't gonna make it. So go ahead and sell to us. We'll give you some stock, and we'll send you on your way." So they done that a couple times, you know. They give people corner, and they're like, "No, you're cash strapped," you know. And these companies, they ain't have no choice, you know. So that's leverage. So I mean, it's business. Yeah, I mean, business is tough, you know. I mean, you just have to. I mean, you know, it's not a dirty game, but I mean, it's the game, you know. So leverage. That's why leverage is important. You want to get a leg up, you know. Because I mean, listen. I mean, I got a little leverage now because I got a podcast, you know, and I get some listeners. So if I can call somebody up and say, "Hey, you know, you want to come to this podcast?" and they'll say, "What?" I'll say, "I got listeners." You just show them, you know. You say, "Hey, you know, I got listeners right here," you know. So, I mean, I got more leverage than the person that doesn't have a podcast, that doesn't have a YouTube channel. So, I mean, figure out, and that's why I say you want to grow an audience, you know. So that way, if you grow an audience, you grow an email list. An email list is leverage. Anything you think about, email list, a YouTube channel, a podcast, an app, anything you got that you have more than, say, one customer, one audience, an audience. If you have any kind of audience, you have a little leverage. You're doing all right. And then you just figure out how to build it, how to get more leverage, and then that way, you know, you can grow your business. Because the more, of course, as you well know, the more people you get on your email list, well, the more participating people you get on your email list, the more money you'll make. It's a fact. You know, right now I have 400 to 500 people on the email list. It's okay. But they buy from me, you know. So I mean, it's not like you have 1 million people. At one point I had like a lot more than that, 700. But I deleted like 300. The people that didn't respond, I wrote emails for like 3 months straight, and the people that never opened the emails, never did anything, I just deleted them. That's another thing. No, I probably said that before, but these these like get response, that's one I have. All of them, they charge you a certain amount for all the subscribers you got. So all the people you have in your email list. So if people are not responding to your email list, to your emails after like 2 or 3 months, I just delete them if I was you. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. So that's that. That's leverage. Get some leverage. Get started. That's why I always tell you. You know, start a channel, start a podcast, start anything. If you start anything, you can get some leverage going, you know. So, I mean, as you see, I just at the start of this show, I said, hey, you know, check out the daily email. You know, that's leverage. I got an email, I got a podcast, I got to get the YouTube channel up and running. But we're gonna get more and more leverage around this joint. I'm telling you that much. So these last 4 months, we're gonna be hitting it pretty hard. So you're gonna hear a lot more of you know, hey, check out, you know, the website, check out the YouTube channel, this, that, and the other, you know, because we're moving on, we're moving forward. This business is growing. It's going to keep growing. We're going to close out 2020 in style, you know, and then 2021. Well, hopefully 2021 won't be as crazy as 2020, but anyway, we got the momentum rolling. We're going to keep it rolling. So stay tuned. Sign up for the email. Keep checking out the podcast. Eventually, I'm going to turn the YouTube channel to. Well, I'm gonna try to. I gotta figure this out. I don't know if you know how to do this or not, but you could take your podcast and post them on your YouTube channel. So that's gonna be in the future. Hopefully, I'll be doing that within a month because I need to put some content on my YouTube channel. You know. So the more content, of course, because you could take this content. But before I go, I know this is a little lengthy, but you could take any piece of content and you could transfer it from a podcast to a YouTube, from the YouTube to the podcast, from the podcast to an email, This stuff is transferable. So don't think you have to make different content for every different form of medium that you want to be on. No. You can take an email that you read, and then you can make it into a podcast. You can say, oh, that sounds like a good topic. Then you can just make it into a podcast. Or you can take the podcast that you just talked about. You can download the audio. You know, they have things like rev.com. You can do that. You can record, and then you can record and send it off to a person, and then they'll transcribe it for you and send it back to you. I mean, it might cost you a few bucks, but that'll be an email, you know. If you could talk for 5 to 6 minutes into a microphone or something, and then send it to the people, that's the email. That's better than sometimes writing by hand and then writing all that. Sometimes it's a lot of work, and if you want to skip some of that stuff, then there's a lot of different ways you can go. But share content on different platforms. I'll always be thinking about that. You know, you don't, because listen, you'll bust your brain trying to come up with different content for every platform. You know, just like you can take a small snippet of a YouTube video, post it on your Instagram. I'm sure this is stuff that you probably already know, but sometimes it helps if you hear from a different voice. It always helps to remind you, because I know, listen, I need reminders. Me myself, I like things repeated, because sometimes I'm a little thick-headed, so it takes me 5 or 6 times to, something to sink in. But anyway, that's it for today. Leverage, everybody. Get some leverage going, and things are happening. The more leverage you got, the better off you'll be, I mean, I saw Amazon. They went from 0 to now, shit, I mean, they doing FedEx, UPS, trucks and boxes and all that type of shit. So, leverage don't hurt. All right, that's it. Tomorrow we'll be back. Tomorrow we'll try to record a little earlier. This is be downloading this tonight. But as always, this is Tony Rizzano for the Affiliate Party Podcast. And we will talk to you tomorrow. And as always, everybody, peace.